Good day. This is Duke Brander, and I'm going to do a fundamental starting class on longsword and how to start thinking about using and applying fundamental techniques with the longsword in SCA combat. This is for my new young students, trying to do a little bit more complete single video. So this one's going to be a little bit longer, but again, just fundamental. So as you can see, I'm using my Albion. This is my Lichtenauer. Any of the longsword work that I do in the SCA, my longswords are pretty well matched to the Albion Lichtenauer style longsword. So first, I want to talk about grip, how to hold the longsword. We're going to start with the top hand. When I say top hand is always the hand that's closest to the guard, and then bottom hand is on the pommel. So guard, top hand, right hand, bottom hand. See how they're separated by that gap? We don't want to hold it like this. There are going to be advanced techniques where we might do that, but right now, fundamentally, we want to be bottom hand, in my case since I'm right-handed, right hand top, left hand bottom. And then when we grip the sword, think of it as being, we grip this, it's not a hard, tight grip. It's more of a loose hand, strong grip kind of method that we use. And I should be able to hold my fingers out straight to the line of the crossguard there, or the edge, and then I just close those fingers, and then it's, the fingers wrap around completely, as you can see. But when I move the sword, see how those hands are very fluid, allow the weapon to move very easily because of the way my hands and my wrists are pivoting through those motions. See that? Right, just like that. That's just the wrist right there. Right, that's just the wrist. So we need to make sure we're gripping the sword correctly and then using it and holding it that way. Okay? So when we apply movement to the sword, our hands and wrists are letting us do all these kind of things, right? Because of how our hands are allowing the sword to move dynamically and freely with flow to the movement, but connected to, what we're choosing to do, of course. The next thing I wanted to talk about with grip is when we apply power to the cuts, the hand or the hands, because they're separated by that gap. The front hand is moving forward as the back hand is snapping. So there's this snapping action, this pendulum action when we cut, along with applying power through the body pivot turn. Okay? It's very important to be able to do that and have your hands be nice and loose. Okay? See that? Okay, so that's grip and how the grip works in conjunction with the hilt to manipulate the longsword in very basic fundamental discussion. So then we go to the guard. In longsword, Fiore, etc., there's many different longsword guards. We're going to start with the plow guard, and that in my school, Leaf and Rue, when I teach longsword, the plow is, I believe, the most fundamental guard position for longsword because it applies both a really good guard for offensive capability, but also for defensive capability at the same time. So plow is going to be, we're going to get in our guard. I'm going to back up here a little bit. See a little bit more on my feet. And so I use kind of the very similar to a fencing stance. And I'm going to start with left foot forward. So this is left foot forward, right hand high. Okay, we grab the sword like we showed a minute ago. And we come in here. So see how the body is turned away. Sword is to our side. At about navel height, give or take. About a hand, fist gap in there, right? Okay. We're in here. Right, in here. Okay. Sword point is in front. And just above the line of my eyes is the point. And then we come to this plow guard, which is just going from body turned fully away to body turned this way. And then if we change our feet to right foot forward, see how that sword was like a still sword? It just kind of stayed there as I changed my feet. See that? We're back in here, right? So 4 positions of plow, depending on what you're trying to do and what side you're trying to show strength and offensive strength on versus defensive strength. Obviously here, I'm really fast to these blocks. Right? As we're over here, I've got to come over here and we'll get into blocking here in a minute. But that's plow. Okay? So from this side, view, plow. Right? Here, right? Here. Okay. So from plow, we're going to complete fundamentally static blocks. And these are blocks that are what we call committed blocks, in that we're making sure that we're not only blocking on the flat, but we're also blocking close to our bodies so that when our opponent swings at us, they have to commit fully to their attack. Meaning that we don't block out here, at least not on purpose, right? Because then we make the block, but then they immediately come into a cut much faster. So committed blocking means we're forcing our opponent to commit to their attack. So I'm here, close to my body, right? I'm here, not out in here, not out in here. I'm here, right? Okay? Or I'm here. See how it's flat? Wrist turn, flat, right? Here. We can also rotate both ways here. Let me show that. As I come up from that plow position, I can just lift it, flat's already there, or rotate my wrist. This is a much faster block because I don't have to rotate to get around it. Right? Just like that. Again, it's committed. I'm making him swing all the way to me here or here. So, and block here. And these blocks are mostly currently going to be how to block for protecting yourself against a head, a shoulder, or a body hip cut that is more of a 45-degree or a little bit more of a horizontal style cut. Right? Here, down in here. Right? Here, right? Okay. Not worrying about the leg right now. We'll get to that in the next video or two. Okay? Block. Okay, and see how my body has to turn? I'm not here in plow and try to just put that sword over here. See how it doesn't block? I've got to rotate And then I get that block in. To rotate to get that block. Now, if I'm already turned away and the cut's coming here, I'm already rotated on this side. I can just lift and make that block, right? If I'm in this guard, plow, and the cut comes here, I just have to lift up and rotate to the flat, right? Because I'm already turned that way. So if it comes here, right, block, then it comes across here, I have to rotate to make that block. Okay? Committed blocks for the 45 degree and the horizontal cuts. 45 meaning obviously here, horizontal, more in here, right? 45 here, horizontal, right? Okay. And then finally, how to cut from plow. So cutting from plow, from that guard, right hand high, left foot forward. I rotate my hip again, just like I did on that block, but instead of moving to the block, I rotate, start to let that point, create that small circle up there, and then cut, right? Cut. And see how, as I turn my body, that sword point starts to, with me doing nothing with my hands yet, see how the point starts to, as I push that hand forward just a little bit, makes that circle up here. And then extend and snap. So, body, forward movement, extend, snap to the cut. So, cut, cut. I'm in this plow, right? Okay. I'm going to rotate this way. Cut, 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 cut. If I make a block on this side, I'm already wound up. Cut. See that snap that's happening in there? Very dynamic snap with the hands and the flow of that sword. Okay, so fundamental stuff. This is a lot easier to show face to face on a PEL, and we'll be doing that in time, but this is just to get you guys to start thinking about some of these fundamental techniques. Thanks. Again, longsword fundamental 101. Grip, guard, static block to the committed defense, and cutting from plow.